The flight had already taken off. This Boeing 777 carried 225 passengers and 9 crew members, a total of 234 people. It was 12:41 a.m., and the plane was flying peacefully at an altitude of 8,300 feet over the South China Sea. The aircraft was under the control of the experienced Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, and his co-pilot, Farik Abdul Hamid, was completing his training. Everything inside the cockpit was normal. Outside, the sky was full of stars, and below, the deep ocean stretched endlessly. Some passengers were asleep, some were dreaming about their destination, and some were listening to music through headphones. No one had any idea that this night would become the most terrifying night of their lives. About an hour into the flight, a small message flashed on the air traffic control ATC radar, technical fault. Some of the plane's systems had suddenly stopped working. Before anyone could comprehend what was happening, one by one, most of the plane's systems failed, and a small explosion occurred inside the cockpit. A strange-smelling gas began to spread rapidly. It was a poisonous gas that rendered both pilots unconscious within seconds. They were attempting to send an emergency message to ATC when the plane disappeared from the radar forever. The cockpit door was locked from the inside, and there was no way to open it from outside. Passengers inside began to feel jolts, and screams erupted. People tried desperately to break the cockpit door, but it was as strong as a wall of iron. The plane continued to fly on autopilot in an unknown direction. With 49,100 kilograms of fuel on board, it could have flown for about 8 hours. Gradually, the poisonous gas spread to the cabin as well, and one by one, all the passengers became unconscious. For hours, the runaway plane floated like a ghost over the vast, unknown sea. At around 5:40 a.m., after nearly 5 hours of unconsciousness, Captain Zahari regained consciousness. His head was pounding with pain. When he looked outside, his legs almost gave way. As far as the eye could see, there was only the endless blue ocean. Warning lights on the dashboard indicated that the fuel would run out in a few minutes. There was only one option left: death. Trembling, he used the intercom to announce that the plane was about to crash. This announcement woke the unconscious passengers. The scene inside was heart-wrenching. People were screaming and crying. Some were calling out to God. Some were clutching pictures of their children. The captain summoned all his courage and tried to land the plane on the water. It was almost impossible. Everyone understood that only a few moments remained in their lives. They held each other's hands, bracing for death. Just before the plane was about to hit the water, there was silence, broken only by sobs. The captain gave the last instruction: put on life jackets and move toward the doors. One by one, trembling passengers jumped into the sea. As the last person leapt, the plane exploded and sank into the ocean with a massive blast. A fireball rose, and thousands of pieces of the aircraft scattered into the water. Captain Zahari and co-pilot Farik were killed in the crash. But the remaining passengers survived. They clung to the floating wreckage in the cold, terrifying ocean. 10 people died on the first day from hunger, thirst, and cold. The rest held each other together, hoping someone might rescue them. But all around was the sea, death flowing toward an unknown future. One of the passengers, Arav, had a telescope. He scanned the horizon for any sign of land. Then, as if luck had smiled upon them for a moment, he spotted a tiny island with the first light of dawn. He shouted, "Land! Land!" Everyone looked in the direction he pointed. The island was small, so small that one could barely run from one end to the other. It had only 2 coconut trees and sand everywhere. No forest, no animals, no freshwater source. For over 200 people, it was a prison-like place that could be swallowed by the sea at any moment. They began taking care of the injured. They tore their clothes to make bandages, but one question haunted them: how would they survive here? On the second day, the sun blazed down, so they covered their heads with cloth. The real struggle had begun, the fight against thirst. The 2 coconut trees became their focus. A young man climbed one tree using his belt and managed to collect a few coconuts. but the water was barely enough for 200 people. They decided that children and the injured would get water first. At night, cold winds blew, so they huddled together in circles, using life jackets and seat cushions to preserve body heat. On the fourth day, when the waves receded, they found crabs and shells in small sand pits. Using sharp plane debris, they made a knife and a small fishing net. That day, they cooked crab over heated stones, the first meal they had in a long time. Slowly, life became a terrifying routine where every day brought a new challenge. This struggle showed how precious life is. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows such stories to reach more people. A month passed on the island. Meanwhile, a massive search operation costing $35 million was underway in the ocean to find MH370, but no trace was found. On the island, over 200 people fought death daily. They assigned roles. Some fetched water, some tried fishing, some reinforced shelters. Scarcity of resources caused the first death from an infected wound. Leadership disputes arose, dividing people into two groups over resource distribution. A large turtle washed ashore, but it became a point of violent contention and was wasted. Humanity slowly faded. After about 2 months, only around 100 people remained. Death became commonplace. The survivors struggled daily with hunger and exhaustion. Then, after 121 days, a distant airplane contrail appeared. They tried signaling with reflectors and smoke, but it vanished quickly. The faint hope died as quickly as it came. A year passed. By now, about 70 people remained. They started calling themselves the people of the island. Memories of the outside world faded. Children born after the crash grew up knowing only this island. They learned to weave ropes from coconut fibers and make utensils from shells. By the 6th year, conflicts over power began again. Coconut trees became a point of dispute. By the 7th year, soil fertility declined. Trees weakened and fruit became scarce. By the 8th year, hunger and malnutrition returned. By the 10th year, fewer than 30 people remained. Most were old and weak. By the 11th year, only one person survived, Arav, the man who first spotted the island. His friends, family, and companions were all gone. Weak and aged, with white hair and eyes hollow with emptiness, he would wake each day and look at the lone coconut tree and the countless skeletons around him. One morning, he went to the small, weakened sapling nearby, lay down beneath it, and remembered the 11 years of this horrific journey. The flight, the explosion, the ocean, the island, the struggles, the deaths, the tiny joys, and the endless waiting. His breathing slowed. The last sound on the island fell silent forever. Time passed, storms came and went. The island, filled with skeletons, remained desolate. Even the lone coconut tree eventually died, leaving only a small, incomplete sapling as a witness to their struggle, a struggle that never bore fruit. Their screams, hopes, and pain were buried in the waves and sand. They all survived the crash only to face another, even more terrible death. About 6 months later, a tourist boat lost its way and reached the island. The captain noticed something strange through his binoculars and went ashore with his crew. The sight froze them in terror. The island was littered with human skeletons. Among the wreckage, they found a broken phone with a message scratched on it. "We are from MH370. We tried. The world forgot us, but this is the terrible truth." Then they saw the last scene that tore their hearts apart. A skeleton's hand clutching the tiny, dried sapling. It was a testament to the endless struggle, unbroken courage, and ultimate defeat of the 234 people who survived the plane crash, only to face death again.